Hello and welcome to the INS MLM software demonstration of the Members Lounge, otherwise known as the back office. This is mission control for your members. First thing that comes right to the top of the screen here is a quote of the day. We've got an engine of about 5,000 quotes that just pop up in a nice random order. Once a day there's a new quote here just for a little bit of motivation. If admin had put any custom notes or custom messages to this particular member in, they would actually show above the quote of the day area, and the member would have to agree that they've read them before they could see anything else in the Members Lounge. So let's take a look at the calendar. We've got a great communications feature with how email blasts these days get cut off by the servers at your ISP. It's just not as comfortable as it used to be to do an email blast and know that your members are getting it. So we've got a bunch of communication features built into the system, of which the first one is this calendar. Now, if you look over at this red item, this is actually an item that we put onto the calendar from admin. If you put an item onto the calendar from admin, every member sees it in red. The member can then click on that item to get a little bit more information about it. The member can choose between day view, week view, month view, all within the calendar. The member themselves can also put items onto the calendar. If the member puts an item onto the calendar, it only shows for the member. Interestingly enough, the auto prospecting or the email marketing software add-in can also automatically populate important phone calls and stuff to this calendar. So here's the item that I put in a little bit earlier from this particular Members Lounge, just so that we could see it in this demo, and it basically just says an item to show in this demo. If I wanted to add another item, I can click on the Add Item button. I can then pick what day. Here it'll come up on the 11th of June. I can just put, very simple, click Add, and that will now show as a member entered item onto this particular calendar. So now this particular day is going to have two different items on it, both at the same time, interestingly enough. See the two items on the calendar. So this is a fantastic function for the members to use to keep their business under control, and for admin to use as a way to communicate all the important events and what's going on within the company. Okay, so details. If we take a look here, here's where the member can change their details, change their address, so they can change a whole bunch of information about themselves, so they don't have to call the company to say, can you please change my email address, or can you please change my address? They can do it all themselves in a self-serve mode. You can see they even change their own password of their website, their security question and answer. Everything's changeable by the member. So we've looked at calendar, we've looked at details. Now we're going to go into the options section. The options section has a whole bunch of interesting features. The first and probably one of the most important is, once your members have earned commissions, how do they get the money out? Well, with our advanced personal account system, there's quite a few options for how the person would like to get their money out. So they could say that they'd like to get their money out every commission period. So they could say, yes, pay me every week or every month, depending on what your commission plan is. They can select from the payment types that they picked up which way they'd like to be paid, and then they can have the details of where they're getting paid. They could also say, you know what, I don't want any money until I've got $1,000 in my personal account. This is really handy if you do any expansion outside of Canada and the U.S. for members who have huge service fees for cashing North American checks. Very famous in Japan. You send a check to someone in Japan for $50. It actually costs them $50 in service fees to cash that check. So this function was made with those people in mind to say, leave behind $1,000 before you send me a check, so it's worth the service charges to take the check. Now, we can also make a little setting here of how much money to leave behind in the account. So you can say, give me all the money after I get over $1,000, but leave $50 behind to cover my auto ship. And then, of course, we can also fill in a little checkbox here that says, do you want your auto ship payment to come out of your personal account first if there's sufficient funds? Lots of people would prefer it not to show up in their credit card. So here you could set it up to say, don't send me money until I have over $1,000. Once I have that, leave behind $50 of it, and make sure that my auto ship always comes out of my personal account when there's money. So the member could have their auto ships always coming out of their personal account, which means it's coming out of their earnings. You're saving Visa discount fees. You're saving chargeback risk. It's just a phenomenal system in today's MLM marketplace. Let's take a look at placement preference. Placement preference, depending on the commission plan you're using. Some people have placement, some people don't. This particular system is going to show you how placement preference for a binary works, where you'll basically just have to select left, right, or automatic. Of course, in your configuration document, you can tell us what automatic means, whether it's one on the left, one on the right. If you have a placement matrix, this would show each and every leg where people can pick what leg their next person is going to go into. And actually, when you get into a matrix, this becomes very, very expandable, where you can say, put the next 4 people under Joe, put the next 3 people under Fred. And again, depending if you allow inside placement or just outside placement, the options that come up here for future placement preference can be very, very interesting and helpful to the growth of your business. Website, this is actually the magical little place where you can set up the About Me page. So of course, on the public area of the site, there's a little place called About Me that every member gets control of. They can go ahead and write whatever they want. They can add a bunch of HTML to it. They can upload pictures to it. They can do all kinds of fun stuff here. Uploading picture, let's just go take a look. You click Change or View Your Current Photo, and you'll see a picture of me actually at TechEd in Australia in 2006. So you can upload the image directly from your computer, or you can actually go and pick an image that's already on the internet to display. You do have to hit F5 after you put it on, which will refresh your screen and make it show up. And it's very important that it is a JPEG file type. Okay, auto ship. If your company has an automatic shipment or a monthly order requirement or whatever, this is where the member can control their own auto ship. So no longer do you need to have your auto ship controlled by admin and have people faxing stuff in 7 days in advance. The member can just come in and put things on or take things off of auto ship anytime they like. So I'm just adding an item to auto ship right now, and you can see now that I've added an item to the auto ship. You can hit 0 as quantity, and that'll actually take the item off your auto ship. So the member is in complete control. The member can also decide how they want to pay for their auto ship. They can say pay it on my personal account, or they can say pay it out of their credit card. It just depends on what payment types they have set up and how they'd like to do things. Okay, we'll go back to the main members menu, and we'll carry on with product order. Won't get into this in a whole bunch, but the way the system works is you can actually have different products available from within the members lounge for purchase than are available from the public area of the site. So as you've seen, if you've watched our admin demo, the controls that you have over all of your products are just simply phenomenal. So if you had said that you wanted something to show up for the members to purchase, then that would actually show up right here if a member pushed product order. Finances, we'll go have a quick look in finances. There's some interesting things there. Invoices, a member can take a look at all their previous invoices. So they can see each and every invoice. They can drill right down to a detail level, all under the finances area. And you can see a list of every order that they've ever done. You can see the status of that order, and if you click on the order number, you can drill down to the detail level of that order. And if they wanted to reprint this out, they could. And that's actually spawned a new window. You can see me clicking between 2 windows now. It's actually spawned a new window, so then they're done with it. They just close it. And earnings. Earnings report is a very advanced earnings report to where the earnings report can be drilled down right to the level of who paid how much to this member, or who did this member earn from, right down to the detail level. So we can see total earnings $3,000. If there was multiple periods, there'd be multiple periods showing here. We can see the commission type is referral. If I click on that $3,000, it's now going to drill down to a bit more detail. It's going to tell me which level I got paid from. And I can see that on level 0, I made $2,400, and on level 1, I made $12,000. If I kept going down, it would just go down one more level to say that I got paid $50 from Joe and $40 from Frank. So it's a very, very detailed earnings report that your members can see. Depending on how you fill out the configuration document with us, this could either be dynamic real-time, or this would be updated daily or updated monthly, depending on your preferences and what system of ours you've purchased. We'll go look in the withdrawal area. This is for a one-time only withdrawal. So if someone hasn't set up automatic preferences and they just simply want to get paid a certain amount of money right now, they would just come in here, they'd type in how much money they want, they'd say which way they want it to come from, and they'd hit next. Of course, I've asked for $500. There's only $50 in my account, so it's going to just turn around and give me an error message that says you can't withdraw more money than you have.